when someone goes through a breakup and you hear them saying how terrible the other person was and that all the issues were because of the other person. I am of the belief that it is possible that it's all the issues are the other person, but it is very rare. And even if the issues were majority the other person, some of them are probably on you. And your issue could actually be that you are in denial about some of the issues happening in the relationship, right? So when someone is in denial that they negatively contributed to a relationship ending, like let's say someone gets a divorce and they say it's all one partner's fault and not theirs, that denial is a coping mechanism that makes them feel like, okay, I'm going through insane amounts of grief right now and loss and pain. And when that grief, loss, and pain is so heavy, adding on the grief of it being your fault is often too much for people to actually experience all at once. It's like I'm already feeling like I'm losing love and or the loss of family or the loss of the perceived future I was going to have, and then you want to layer that with and it's my fault. That keeps people in denial. And that's why they say, oh, it's the other person's fault, because it's so hard to feel that it's your fault. But coming out of denial is grief. In that initial step, it's so much grief because you're grieving the fact that you are in the position you're in because of your actions. You're receiving the consequences of your own actions is kind of the initial stage of coming out of denial, depending on what you're coming out of. And so it's dark at first and it's painful. And that's why denial, when you're coming out of it, is a slow process instead of like all at once, because it's so much to grieve all at once. But then where it switches from grief into like freedom and liberation is when you learn, okay, part of this was my fault because of the decisions I made. Now I can learn from that and I can choose differently and I can grow. There's actually freedom in that, and there's liberation and there's beauty. And that's actually what an awakening is. And so I think I see coming out of denial as an awakening. And awakenings are beautiful because they're the birthplace of transformation, but they are painful because you have to grieve that who you once were and the decisions you made before you had the awakening.